Good evening and welcome to 3Wide TV for tonight's broadcast of the Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series presented by Stay Tuned Sports. My name is Bob Giaquinto, and tonight the trucks of TNR are making left and right-hand turns here at Lime Rock Park in Connecticut. It's the Lime Rock 40 here tonight, and this is going to be a lot of fun. A very short, all things considered, road course here, only about 1.5 miles long, and these trucks are going to be being put through the paces here for tonight's race. There you see the 12 of John Cannizzaro Jr. He's out there putting his first qualifying lap in, and let's take a look if we can get on board with John to see a quick lap here around Lime Rock Park. Here they are going through turn number 1. It's called the Big Bend, and it's a big 2-apex right-hand turn into the turn that is called the left-hander because it's a left-hand turn. All the way down there, it's a slow crawl. It's easy to spin up the tires there, especially coming out of the kink there down the no-name straight here. And this part of the track, again, very fast but hard right turn here, and up and over the hill. It's very easy to get air time, as well as you see John got a little bit of air there coming through that straightaway off into the right-hand turn here, down the hill into another quick right-hand turn. And that is going to be a lap here tonight at Lime Rock Park. This will be tough for all of these drivers out there. The fastest driver in practice so far, or earlier rather, was the 23 of JD Laird. John Cannizzaro first to put a lap in at a 53.074. So these laps are going to tick by quite quickly here with a 40-lap race. Some of the trucks out there on the circuit right now. You see the 90 machine of Scott Crump. Had a great run a couple weeks ago at Watkins Glen at the other road course that the series had ran. Sean Winkler goes on the board. He'll go P2. Jason Gracias out there, as well as John Cannizzaro Sr. Bill Edwards in the mix as well. Don't forget, if you are watching tonight's race on YouTube here at 3Wide TV, make sure you pop in the comments section, say hi, let me know who you're cheering for in tonight's race. The Windsor's in the chat saying good luck, Bill. Bill currently qualifying in the 5th position so far out of the 8 trucks who have gone up to put a time in, as more drivers cut across the line here to put some more lap times in. A couple drivers to keep an eye on. There was a small coming together of fenders between the 90 and the 24 of Daniel Caprario, so that might be something we're going to have to keep an eye out as this race goes on. Just, it's a very narrow racetrack, and those two guys, when they came together, they went off in a big way into the Armco barriers you see there around the side of this racetrack. So, you know, it's one of those things where if they get close to each other, don't think anything's going to happen, but there is always a possibility. As we see Caprario come out of the final corner down this long front straightaway. Let's see where Caprario is going to put his first lap in. And that one is going to go on the board. Let's see where he was up there, if my timing and scoring wants to update. Looks like it did not, so he must have gotten an incident penalty there, which will negate your lap. And that's one thing that's very tough to do on this track, is to be fast and stay on the asphalt. Those turns are very deceptive, especially turn 1 here, as we ride on board with the 17 of Tristan Thuggy Maher. We have to come down, hit that first apex, drive and drift out a little bit more than you'd expect to come back in, hit that second apex on the right-hand side. But right there, that is so easy to do. It's a deceptively slow corner. If you get a little too much gas on the car, you're going to spin out in a big way, as now the 24 of Caprario does come around and make his first lap. Only good right now for 9th place so far, a 54.159, but still on the pole, at least for now, is the 12 machine of John Cannizzaro Jr. JD Laird so far in 2nd, with only a few minutes left here to go in qualifying. 11 drivers so far have put on a qualifying lap. So more cars, or trucks rather, getting ready to come out. A quiet racetrack so far. Like I'd mentioned before, John Cannizzaro Jr., your pole sitter for tonight's race. Also want to thank our series sponsor, Jimbo at Stay Tuned Sports. They're your go-to destination for the best sports talk and podcast around. They're fantastic listening. You got to give Jimbo a chance and take a listen to the show. It's always a great time to listen to the show, especially while I'm doing work around the house or working from home and that sort of thing. Always great to listen in, especially with Jimbo being an Eagles fan. I enjoy listening to hearing his takes about Philly sports and just sports in general. You can check him out wherever you find podcasts. And if you want to support the show, you can buy him a drink at buymeacoffee.com/ST
He hopped into a broadcast I was doing yesterday. So that was pretty cool of him.
So some trucks, a little quiet out there right now. A couple drivers just sitting on pit road yet to ready up. Nathan Ramsey and John Eckhart, the only two that have yet to put in a lap. And Carlos was saying that last night during a little broadcast that Carlos is putting on, Jimbo was actually able to jump in and hang out with him in the chat for a broadcast, which that was definitely pretty cool to see. We're broadcasting the TNR season finale, race won by the 23 of JD Laird, championship won by our provisional pole sitter for right now, the 12 of John Cannizzaro Jr. So a bit of a quiet racetrack so far, as 11 of the 13 trucks here tonight have put in laps. As we see some fantastic camera work here done by producer extraordinaire Carlos Acosta and our friends here at 3 Wide TV, getting you all of the angles. You're not going to miss a second of the action here tonight. And this is going to be a lot of fun. So only a couple more minutes left to go here in qualifying. Still two drivers yet to make their laps in here on the track. As soon as they do, we will let you know. But this track, we're driving the classic version of the racetrack here tonight. There's a couple of other versions with a few other chicanes. There's one chicane that essentially skips the jump, for lack of a better phrase, and then another chicane just after the jump that they'll use sometimes. But right now, this is the classic layout here. As you see, the first chicane that normally would go out and skip the jump, because that jump right there, we have Carlos with the Telestrator. Fun new feature here on 3 Wide TV. That is normally the go-to, but tonight we skip it, and we're going to be going up and around the corner, and that bend right there and that jump can be treacherous. If you hit that at the wrong angle, you give it a little bit too much gas, you're going to spin it, and you could take out a bunch of good trucks. As
That's my airplane.
Well, there's an airplane there taking off. I was wondering if that was a stick figure or what was going on there, but the airplane taking off there, coming across the jump. But there is action yet again here on the racetrack. The 4 of Nathan Ramsey able to get out there and turn some laps on his out lap right now. Coming down the big sweeping final right-hand corner down the long straightaway here. Get some great onboard angles here. He's going to take the green flag now. 23 seconds left to go here in the session, so I don't think he's going to have enough time to make it all the way around, but any laps here under race conditions by yourself is going to be a huge practice opportunity, because it is very, very tough to get around this track fast and clean. And you step one tire off into the dirt, it could be night over. But as we say that, the session has finally ended, and we'll get out there onto the racetrack. We'll take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's Lime Rock 40. presented by Stay Tuned Sports. The Tuesday Night Truck Thunder Series, presented by Stay Tuned Sports. The pole sitter for tonight is the 12 machine of John Cannizzaro Jr. with a lap time of 52.795 seconds. On his outside will be the 23 machine of J.D. Laird. Row number 2 has the 27 of Sean Winkler and Jason Gracias. Row 3 will have Scott Crump and Bill Edwards. Row number 4 are Kevin Powder and Mike Floppy Tellier in 7th and 8th. Adam Williams in 9th, Daniel Caprario rounding out your top 10. John Cannizzaro Sr. in 11th, John Eckhart in 12th, Tristan Thuggy Maher in 13th, and Nathan Ramsey will round out your field of 14 competitors here for tonight's broadcast. So, once everyone is loaded up, the pace truck will be on its way. One quick pace lap around here to get the drivers acclimated for the racetrack, and then we'll be going green here in just a few minutes here on 3 Wide TV. If you're just joining us, welcome. Hope you are doing well. In the chat, let us know what you're doing, who you're cheering on. And it looks like there's actually a standing start. I was joking. Wow, interesting. A standing start here in mayhem as the green flag flies. The 50 of Bill Edwards loses a little bit of control. Same with the 27 of Sean Winkler. And as we say that, more mayhem as the 27 still yet to get around. As, the 78 of Williams is around. Mayhem here on the start of the racetrack. And it looks like there was an issue as well with the 24 Danny Caprario. He's taken his truck from behind the wall as well. But wow, we'll get a second here to get a quick replay of it. The 27 had a good launch here, and yeah, just kind of grabbed a gear, gave it a little too many beans, and around went the 27, waiting for the 50 to go around, and that's why the 27 of Sean Winkler just a little bit far behind in the field. He's last so far. There's the 20 of John Cannizzaro Sr. He goes off. The 78 of Williams goes off. Williams might have caught that tire barrier there as well. So some fast-paced, phonetic action here on 3 Wide TV. It's the 12 of John Cannizzaro Jr. That is your leader. He's opened up his lead to about 3 seconds over the 23 of J.D. Laird, flashing across your screen there. A little bit further back in the pack. This here is a battle for the third position. Jason Gracias has it. Scott Crump there in the 90 wants it. And there's a few other drivers directly behind them also vying for position. That's the 60 of Kevin Powder, or the 06 rather, of Kevin Powder. So after a bit of a hectic first lap of a standing start and all, that was fun. That was one thing I was not expecting to see, a standing start on a road course.
I was making a
in
joke.
These Camping World Truck Series trucks, and Carlos was joking with me saying, yeah, it's definitely going to be a standing start, and well, the green flag came out and they all ran, so no pace lap there tonight.
I had to point out my mic has been hot this whole time.
Looking to track down the 12 of Cannizzaro. Jason Gracias there shortly behind him. As going up the jump, you see there these trucks, little wiggle there from the 06. Powder takes a peek to the inside, and right there, that is going to be the story. You don't want to gas up too much when it comes to going up and over that hill. These and this downhill section as well. It can be very easy to dip one tire up off the racetrack into the grass, and it'll send you spinning directly into that wall. And if you hit hard enough, you could slide all the way across the track as well. As we get a great view here of this battle, this is the battle for fourth position between Scott Crump and the 06 of Kevin Powder. Powder putting on the pressure there. Got a little squirrely coming out of that right-hand corner. Down the no-name straight. Which I guess technically if you call it the no-name straight, I guess it has a name, but I digress. Now Powder looks to settle in. The rest of the field just kind of spread out right now. Nathan Ramsey a little bit further back behind the field, behind just about everyone. Williams there as well, putting on some pressure between he and John Cannizzaro Sr. This is a good-looking battle here on the track. I love that look of the 78 machine, that powder blue matte finish. And, oh, the 20 got slowed up a lot. And 78 had to take some evasive action. Good job by him to keep it off the back bumper of the 20.
I think it was
but also keep it there on the island. They might have actually made a little bit of contact.
I think the 78 took the corner.
As the 78 might have cut the corner there, but it doesn't look like much of a slowdown penalty here, as he is all over the back bumper of the 20 of Cannizzaro. And here through the right-hand turn, heading down the no-name straight. Good battle there. Williams able to get around Cannizzaro. And he's going to slot up there into the 11th position for tonight. Meanwhile, at top, trouble, the 20 of Cannizzaro Sr., he gets off. He's able to keep it going there and able to get out of the wall. We'll see here on the top of your screen, that's the battle right now between the 1 of Jason Gracias and the 90 of Scott Crump. Gracias has third position, Crump wants it. But just like Watkins Glen, as all of this battle is going on, the 12 of John Cannizzaro Jr. all the way out to a 4.5 second lead, and it is slowly growing. Cannizzaro just put down his fastest lap of the race this past lap at a 53.328 as the field flies down the front straightaway, the Sam Posey Straight, as you see there on the pedestrian walk bridge. Down here through the left-hander. And this is one of those tracks. It's a fun track, it's a narrow track, but it's also quite technical as well. You really have to be able to get your truck into position, able to hit the apexes just right, and it takes a lot of finesse and throttle control is going to be your best friend as this race goes on. As we see, look at that, look at the window, that gap closing between he and the 4 of Nathan Ramsey. Ramsey going to be going 1 lap down. No stages here in the Stay Tuned Sports Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series. So lap 1 through lap 40, this is going to be a quick race as well. Only 40 laps here tonight with about 50 seconds, give or take 50 to 55 seconds per lap. Race will be done within no time, but here you see the 90 of Scott Crump getting right to the back bumper of the 1 of Jason Gracias. You also see the 17 and the 06 battling it out. So some good battles here all over. And then on the bottom camera there in the 3-wide TV multicam, you see the 50 of Bill Edwards trying to track down Mike Floppy Tellier just ahead of him. So some good battles all over the racetrack here tonight. We're doing our best to get you all the angles possible for the broadcast. As the 4 of Nathan Ramsey just pulls over, lets the rest of the leaders get on by. And that's one thing I can definitely understand where the 4 is coming from. That is one of those things where I am very, very hard
we've lost our
pressed to learn how to drive these road courses, especially in these big heavy stock cars and trucks. As we see a good battle here now between the 97 of Mike Floppy Tellier and the 50 of Bill Edwards. Leaders going by at the top of your screen. Stay Tuned Sports in the chat saying, let's go Crump, and I guess I should root for John. Yeah, I guess as a sponsor, I guess you kind of have to. It's, I guess if you really want to vote for root for John, he's already won a modified championship, the Xfinity, the Grand National Championship with Bagcraft. You might as well cheer for the guy here. He's been on a bit of a tear as of late, with a couple race winning streak as well. He was able to win last week at Bristol Dirt, the week prior at Watkins Glen as well. So definitely on a bit of a roll there, that 12 of Cannizzaro is over these last few races. But you see there, Cannizzaro already out to about a 5.5 second lead over JD Laird. Laird about 6 seconds ahead of this battle between Scott Crump and the 90 and the 1 of Jason Gracias. This is a battle again, like I said, for 3rd place. And a good-looking battle there as well. A couple other battles here along the racetrack as well. But right now, this is the best-looking one here, and this right here, this is a good opportunity for Crump. Crump looks to the inside. Oh, getting sideways was the 78 of Williams. Williams, a little more squirrely there. He's able to keep it going. But this battle right here, Crump tried to look to the inside of the 1 of Gracias, couldn't quite do it. Ooh, a little squirrely there coming off the jump as well. He had to get on the binders, keep that thing going straight. He does. He's still trying to track down the 1 of Gracias. Just over a quarter of the way into tonight's race, it's the Lime Rock 40 here on 3Wide TV, Total Nonstop Racing League Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series, presented by Stay Tuned Sports. There's Crump in the Stay Tuned Sports machine, trying to put some pressure on the 1 of Gracias. Gracias looking good so far. Got a little sideways. Oh, trouble! As Gracias, he gets sideways. Powder in there as well as the 90 and the 17 of Tristan Maher. We've got 4 trucks all under a blanket here at a road course. This could be disaster as Powder looks to the inside of Gracias. He'll get a little squirrely there coming up off the jump. The 90 blinks out there, has a little bit of a connection issue. He's back and ready, back and rolling rather. But now this battle goes from a battle for 3rd to a battle for 4th. Gracias just having a hard time here, can't quite catch a break. Down here in the hard braking zone into turn 1, you're dropping down from 4th gear all the way down to 2nd gear. And just having to be patient here on the throttle, especially if you're Gracias. When you got a little sideways, it might have lit up those rear tires a little bit more than he wanted to, and they're not going to have much grip here for another lap or so until he's able to get it straightened out yet again. But all looks good here. And closing behind him, the Hello Kitty machine of Mike Floppy Tellier in the background. He's catching up to these guys. So a little bit of a log jam starting to form here as the field trying to tick laps away. But out front, John Cannizzaro Jr. has opened up a 10.5 second lead over the 23 of JD Laird as the 78 Adam Williams. Bristol Dirt was last week as he power slides through the corner there. Able to keep it all up on the asphalt, so no harm, no foul. There's the gap between 2nd and 3rd, JD Laird and Scott Crump. Definitely looks a lot closer than it actually is. About a 3 to 4 second gap between Laird and Crump, and it's closing just a little bit. Scott Crump last time by put the fastest lap out there on the racetrack at a 54.67. As we see the 78 of Adam Williams, looks like he was pulling over. The 4 of Nathan Ramsey as well, pulling over as well. So about a third of the way into tonight's race, John Cannizzaro has led them all here at Lime Rock Park up in beautiful Connecticut. Definitely one of those tracks that I need to make a pilgrimage up to at one point. A buddy of mine is slowly getting into racing some spec Miatas and wants to go to a track day up here in Lime Rock within the next year or so. So Might have to help him crew his car when we go up there, so that should be a lot of fun. I'll have plenty of laps in iRacing at this track to get myself acclimated with it, so that'll be a good time as well. But here's Powder now. Powder looking to the inside of Gracias, can't quite get the move done, and Tristan Maher in the back just licking his chops, saying, all right, hopefully these two get into it with each other. I'll be able to get around them, couple of free spots, and we'll move at it from there. See the last lap times up there at the top of your screen. Look for your favorite driver. 9 cars on the lead lap out of the 14 that showed up here for tonight's race. Bill Edwards, the most recent driver to fall 1 lap down. As, the 97 Atelier got a little squirrely there, a little too much gas coming up off the hill. And that, it's so easy to do here. The 06, he's going to dive to the inside of Gracias. So move Powder and Maher both up a position as they're able to get around the one of Jason Gracias. And Gracias, after starting in 4th, has fallen back now to 6th place. He was as high as 3rd just a couple of laps ago. I wonder if he got a little bit of damage when he and the 90 of Crump got together and were unable to get things moving. But we see here now 24 laps to go, and these drivers have been attached at the bumper for the last 15 or so laps here between all of these guys, as now the Juana Gracias gave it a little too many beans there coming off the hill, got squirrely and able to save it. Now out of the final corner. Here's Gracias. He's trying to put the moves on the 06 of Kevin Powder. Not quite able to get there just yet, as this has been one heck of a battle brewing all race long. And then lurking in the background, that's the 97 of Mike Floppy Tellier. There's Sean Winkler as well just behind him, as Gracias gets off track, but no harm, no foul. Just crazy to me to see how much air you actually can get coming off of that jump. And once those rear wheels are still on the ground, the front wheels lift off, that's when you have these kinds of issues. As you see them just give it a little too much gas off the hill, and it's going to kick the car sideways just a little bit. As we see green flag pit stops now, that's the 23 of JD Laird. Gracias is in there as well. So a little bit of a pit strategy here, trying to split this race in half. 22 laps to go. Gracias in there. The 97 of Mike Tellier's in there. I believe the 06, Kevin Powder has stayed out. So JD Laird, Jason Gracias, Mike Floppy Tellier, those 3 drivers have come down pit road now after about 19 or 20 laps of racing. And there is your leader, John Cannizzaro Jr. He'll swing by these guys as he'll put them a lap down. But you have to think, are they just reverse pitting? Are they flipping the strategy right now? Are they coming down and are they going to be running out of fuel? Does this mean Cannizzaro has to come down pit road now? What is the strategy going on there? That's what we're going to have to try to figure out here with only 21 laps to go. It'll be halfway when the leader comes by. But I'm interested to see now if, with a couple of these drivers down pit road, does this bring the rest of the leaders in? And we'll be able to find out here momentarily as the leader, John Cannizzaro Jr., coming down the final corner down the hill. Let's see if he pokes his Stay Tuned Sports machine down pit road. He does. The leader's on pit road now. We might see a bit of a lead change here. Scott Crump has yet to make it around towards pit road. He's coming out of the final corner right now. So Crump is going to be pitting, as well as the driver right behind him. That's I believe the 20 or the 17 of Tristan Thuggy Maher on there too. So a bit of a pit strategy change up here as a lot of drivers on pit road now. Only one driver, John Eckhart, has yet to pit. Same with the 06 actually of Kevin Powder, who is your race leader for the time being. But I feel like he might be running on fumes here as he's going to try to run a bit of an overcut, have a couple lap fresher tires than the rest of the leaders. As the rest of the field is going to be cycling back around. Once my timing and scoring updates here, looks like Kevin Powder still going to be staying out. Interesting. I'm wondering how many laps they can go on this tank of fuel now, as Powder, the only one to stay out so far tonight. So Powder still leads at Cannizzaro in second. Scott Crump has been able to overtake the 23 of JD Laird. Actually, that was before Scott Crump actually still on pit road right now, or off pit road now. So move Laird up and Maher behind him. Tristan Thuggy Maher, one of the biggest gainers out there on the racetrack. He came in before he pitted, back around the 7th position. He's able to move up now in 4th after starting 13th, almost shotgun on the field. So Powder stays out another lap. This is one of those times where obviously he's going to have to come down to pit road. He's got about a 10-second lead or so over Cannizzaro, and then Cannizzaro in his own zip code with a good 10 to 12 second lead over JD Laird, who will take over second place once the 06 comes down pit road. But we'll see here as Powder navigates the final 2 corners down the hill. And he still is going to stay out. Very interesting. Meanwhile, a couple other good battles here on the racetrack. The 90, or the 97 rather, Mike Floppy Teller putting on some pressure of the 50 of Bill Edwards. Nothing quite going there between those two drivers for the moment. Overall, a fairly spread out field right now with these green flag laps. And that's to be expected, aside from the pandemonium that was the standing start. All is well and all is quiet, which is always a good thing here with now 17 laps remaining, 16 when Powder comes across the line. He still is going to be staying out. So this is going to be interesting here, just to see what the strategy is for Powder. Just going to be trying to do the overcut and have fresher tires, try to stick it out. But you saw that black truck just behind coming into the camera frame. That's John Cannizzaro Jr. And if Cannizzaro is able to pit, come out, and then take the lead under green flag conditions without the 06 of Powder heading down pit road, that could be a huge win for Cannizzaro. Because even just looking at the stats from Watkins Glen, Cannizzaro beat Scott Crump by 24.5 seconds at the Glen. Led 34 of the 35 laps at the Glen, but as we say this, there he is, the 06 Kevin Powder heading down pit road now. He's going to be likely getting 4 tires and fuel, just like everyone else has. and that'll move the lead over to this guy, the 12th, John Cannizzaro Jr., the Stay Tuned Sports truck. Now it's going to be interesting to see where Powder winds up lining up here after the cycle is completed. There he is coming out of pit road directly behind the 97 of Mike Floppy Tellier, so move Powder back down to 8th place. But he's got about 6 to 8 laps fresher tires. Bill Edwards pitted back on lap number 12, so 11 laps fresher tires than Edwards. Everyone else about 6 to 8 laps or so fresher tires Powder has over the rest of the field. But now with 14 laps to go, it's a little bit of crunch time here, as Cannizzaro has already walked away with this race. But as we see here, the field going around the lap truck of the 20 of John Cannizzaro Sr. This is a good battle. A couple of wily veterans between the 97 of Mike Tellier and the 50 of Bill Edwards. This good battle here brewing. This will be a lot of fun to watch here as this race goes on. Cannizzaro, to put the lead into perspective, Cannizzaro is going through the left-hander in turn 3 as Laird is now hitting the start-finish line. So quite a bit of position over, or quite a big gap rather, between the 12 and the 23. As Cannizzaro has just put on a clinic here tonight. Here's Powder now, trying to put some pressure on the 97 of Tellier. Tellier gets that wheel off into the rumble strip there. Not a whole lot of grip there, as they're both able to get around the 50 of Bill Edwards. Edwards getting a little squirrely there as well. But they'll continue going here through the S's. The no-name straight. Now off to the right-hand turn, up the hill, and getting ready for the jump. As now Tellier just has to defend, but with some fresher tires, Powder's going to look to the inside, can't quite complete the pass. So he's going to have to follow the 97 for a little bit, maybe try to make a move here into turn 1, but he's a little too far away to make that one happen. 12 to go. Out front, Cannizzaro has, just about half a lap lead over the rest of the field. JD Laird, Tristan Thuggy Maher battling it out right now for second. It actually looks like Laird might have gone off, as Thuggy Maher able to get around the 23 of Laird. Let's take a look here at the 3-wide TV replay. As here's Laird driving off into turn 1, locked up the left front, and that's exactly what happened. Just got a little too hot there into the corner. Laird able to get it going. Then you see Maher there in the distance, able to close the gap just a little bit. So a little bit of a braking error now has given the 17 Tristan Maher the second place position over the 23 of Laird. Scott Crump lurking just behind them. We see the 06 of Powder. He was there. Now the 17 of Maher. JD Laird gets a little sideways off the corner, just pushing it, trying to get back up to second place. That's the 18 of John Eckhart there. Eckhart, unfortunately, a lap down in tonight's race. Ten laps remaining here in the Lime Rock 40. If you're just joining us, welcome. It's the John Cannizzaro 40 here at Lime Rock Park. The Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series presented by Stay Tuned Sports. Now the 23 makes a move on the 18 of Eckhart, and there Laird just kind of had to say, all right, come on, you're a lap down. Let me get around you. I have the 90 right here behind me. Hot on my tail, although with a little bit of a connection issue right now. Hopefully he'll be able to get that rectified. As there's Sean Winkler putting some pressure there on the 20 of Cannizzaro Sr. This is not for position. Winkler back down in 9th place. Oh, got a little squirrely there, as he might have locked him up heading off into turn number 1. There's Gracias. He's able to get around the 18 of Eckhart. Gracias started 4th, currently running in the 5th position, but the biggest mover of the race tonight is the 17 of Tristan Thuggy Maher. Started back almost shotgun on the field in 13th. Is up currently in the 2nd place right now, still about 15, 16 seconds behind your leader, John Cannizzaro Jr. There's the 90 of Scott Crump. He's putting some pressure on J.D. Laird. This is a battle for the podium. 3rd place finisher. Laird has it. Crump wants it. With 8 to go, if you're watching last night's Bagcraft Cornhole Grand National Series race here on 3Y TV, you saw a fantastic battle between J.D. Laird and Jason Gracias. Ultimately, Laird got the win. And won it pretty handily, too, over the field after a really spirited 20-lap battle for the finish between Laird and the one of Gracias. Some great slide job moves, a couple of crossovers thrown in there, just some great hard-nosed racing. So the laps ticking down now. 7 laps to go. John Cannizzaro Jr. leads over Tristan Thuggy Maher, J.D. Laird, and Scott Crump, your top 4. As there's Cannizzaro, and there is Tristan Maher. So over half a lap separates these two drivers, as Thuggy going down in the second to last corner, Cannizzaro going into the second corner. So quite a ways away between these two drivers here, and that just kind of shows the huge lead that Cannizzaro was able to go out to get this race started. Fastest lap though of the session so far was by Cannizzaro earlier on in the race, but the fastest lap this time by 54.47 by J.D. Laird. Laird though still putting the pressure on, or getting pressured rather, by Scott Crump, although he's been able to jump out to about a second or so lead ahead of Crump. And there you see on the track map the difference between 1st and 2nd place. Even if Cannizzaro just wants to park it and watch for a little bit, he'll have plenty of time to get himself around. Get some lap traffic ahead. I believe that is the 20 of Cannizzaro Sr. just ahead of him. Remember the last time Cannizzaro tried to lap his father at Watkins Glen, his dad had a little bit of a tight moment there between the two, the father and son duo. So for John Jr.'s sake, hopefully it's not as adventurous as Senior pulls over to let him go by. Some shades of Watkins Glen here, as that's exactly what happened, and then the 20 immediately almost missed the corner. All is good here, though, as they're going to keep all 8 tires between the two of them on the racetrack. So now 4 laps to go. John Cannizzaro Jr., your leader. This is the battle here for third between JD Laird and Scott Crump. Another good battle here between Tellier, Edwards, and Powder. Tellier in 6th right now. Edwards there in the 50. Looking to put some pressure on there. Got a little sideways coming out of turn 2 now through the left-hander. Unable to get the power down, but still closing in just ever so slightly on the 50, or the 97 rather, of Tellier's. Oh, Tellier off into the grass. Hard hit. They make contact. Up and around goes the 97 of Tellier. So we'll put Edwards up a spot. Let's take a look at that one on the replay. Through the no-name straight there. Just caught the grass. Couldn't quite get it stopped, and oh man, the 97 got stuck in the wall. As this will be good on the onboard camera there. Yeah, just kind of grabbed the grass, almost got it slowed up, then the 50 couldn't quite get it stopped and sent the 97 into the wall hard. So 2 laps to go now with Cannizzaro coming across the line. There's Laird. Crump was able to get around JD Laird, as he saw there. So after all that mayhem, we'll slot Crump up to 3rd, Laird to 4th. Gracias in 5th. Bill Edwards here now up to 6th. Kevin Powder up to 7th. And a tough break championship standings-wise there for the 97 coming into tonight's race. Mike Tellier was in 2nd place, only 20 points, or 19 points rather, behind the leader of Jason Gracias coming into tonight's race. So definitely a bit of a tough break, but ultimately he'll finish about 10th with all of this considered. But Cannizzaro has taken the white flag, so 1 more lap to go here at the Lime Rock 40. Well, I guess 1 more lap to go for Cannizzaro. Everyone else has 2 to go. This battle here is for the 6th position. But here's Cannizzaro. Half a lap remaining here in tonight's domination of the John Cannizzaro Jr. 40. As he's getting ready to put the 97 of Mike Tellier another lap down after his incident. As Cannizzaro is going to come across the line. John Cannizzaro wins at Lime Rock. Just overall domination from the green flag all the way through this race. Cannizzaro able to stay strong. Here's the 2nd place driver for now. That's the 17 of Tristan Maher. Maher will finish 2nd. Got Crump battling it out with JD Laird. Crump's going to finish 3rd. Laird will finish 4th. Here's Jason Gracias rounding out your top 5, and there's the battle for 6 just behind him. But ultimately, Bill Edwards will hold strong over the 06 of Kevin Powder. Here's Sean Winkler. Winkler will be finishing 8th. Eckhart there in front of him, finishing 9th. And that will round out the race here as Tellier drifting across the line. Good save there by the 97 machine. As we'll wait for our winner, Cannizzaro, to come across and do some donuts. That's 3 races in a row for that 12 machine. Just domination here on the Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series. Let's Stay Tuned Sports Ride. Good looking ride there as Cannizzaro spins it around. Don't know if he had a little bit of help there from the 17, but overall he'll go ahead and do some donuts to celebrate. Couple of dueling burnouts down the front straightaway, father and son. Good looking celebration there between these two guys. As we'll take a look here at the final standings for tonight's race. The winner, you see him right there, the 12, John Canizaro Jr. Second place, Tristan Thuggy Maher. Scott Crump in third, JD Laird fourth. Jason Gracias rounds out your top five. In sixth, the 50 of Bill Edwards. Kevin Powder, after leading a few laps there during green flag pit stops, he'll fall down to seventh. Sean Winkler in eighth. The 18 of John Eckhart in ninth. Rounding out the top 10 is Mike Floppy Tellier. John Canizaro Sr. finishes in 11th. Nathan Ramsey in 12th. Adam Williams in 13th. And Daniel Caprario finishes in 14th. So we'll start getting a few of these drivers to the broadcast waiting room, as we see the Canizaro duo celebrating. All right, and we will get our interviews underway first with our third place finisher. It's the 90 machine of Scott Crump. As soon as I can get a broadcast booth, there we go. So I'm down here with our third place finisher, Scott Crump. And Scott, first of all, congratulations on the third place finish, and talk me through your race tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Just didn't quite have the pace tonight. Definitely hard to pass. I think I was stuck behind Jason there for a while. I finally got around him, and then I was really slow on my pit stop, and that cost me a spot there. Tuggy might have got me there anyway, but it was good, hard racing, so can't complain.
And, some good racing between you and Laird there in the closing laps. Talk to me about that battle. He was ahead of you there for a little while, then you wound up able to get around him and finishing ultimately P3.
Yeah, I was really good in like 1 and 2 and 3 or whatever, the first part of the track. The second part of the track, the S's, I was losing time. I don't know why I couldn't get through there, just not hitting the brakes right or whatever. But when you get behind somebody, it's hard to hit your marks because you can't see anything. So
that is for sure. And Scott, next week the league takes a trip to Talladega. What are your thoughts heading there to the Super Speedway?
Super Speedway is just anybody has a shot there, so it's just surviving and then being in the right position on the last lap.
Well, Scott, before we let you go, do you have any shout-outs for us?
I get a shout-out to y'all at 3Wide TV and Jimbo at Stay Tuned Sports Podcast. Also get a shout-out to John on another win. I guess that's, 3 in a row now?
Yeah, that is 3 in a row. First with the Glen, then Bristol Dirt, and now this one. So he's been on a bit of a tear recently.
Yeah, he's killing it. So we'll see if he can do it at other tracks too. So we'll see.
All right. Well, Scott, congratulations on the third place finish, and we're looking forward to seeing you out there next week at Talladega.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So that is Scott Crump, our third place finisher for tonight's race. As now we'll pull up the second place finisher, Tristan Thuggy Maher. Tristan, second place finish on another road course. These trucks here between the Stay Tuned Sports Truck Series on Fridays with NSRA, and here, what is it about these trucks that kind of fits your driving style?
Oh, I really don't know. These trucks, I feel like they're a little bit more reliant on like downforce, and they don't have as much power, and I feel like they're easier to drive. I'm nowhere near as good in like the Xfinity car as I am in the trucks. For some reason, the trucks is just my forte.
Well, definitely seemed like your forte out there. Started 13th tonight, able to finish second. Bit of a hectic opening couple of laps with the standing start and that sort of thing. What was it like just kind of powering your way through the field like that?
I just kind of focused on not making mistakes myself. I was kind of, I kind of was looking at it from a point of view where there's no point in burning my stuff up. Um, you know, as long as I stay consistent, then these other guys in front of me will make mistakes, and it's what ended up happening for the most part. And then, you know, I made my final pass for second place, or sorry, I made one of my last pass for third place on pit road, and then I was catching JD Laird, and then he ended up going off track a couple times, so that allowed me to get around him. And really, the name of the game is just consistency, not going off track and not making any huge mistakes.
Well, next week, speaking of just being consistent, Talladega next week. What are your thoughts there going to the Super Speedway?
Oh, it's a shootout. It's a crap fest. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Hey, why not?
It is luck of the draw. There is some skill involved. Most of the skill involved is literally just not being involved in anything. So that is I like super speedways, but every once in a while, not an everyday thing.
That is a fair point. Well, Tristan, before we let you go, do you have any shout-outs for us?
Yeah, TNR, fantastic league. If you guys are interested, check us out on Facebook. Join our Discord, get in on some of the action. We have a SST series coming up next week on Monday. Super fun. We take it to a whole bunch of tracks, not just dirt road courses. We're coming back here actually, I think during our second week of the series, and then we're going to Watkins Glen. So super fun, something different, something to kind of mimic the SSTs, or sorry, the Stadium Super Trucks that like Robbie Gordon, that series that he runs in real life. Bagcraft, gotta shout them out. Truck's looking nice. And then obviously you guys up here in the booth do a fantastic job.
Awesome. Well, Tristan, congratulations there on the second place finish, and we're looking forward to seeing you out there next week at Talladega.
Thanks, Bob.
All right, so that is our second place finisher, Tristan Maher. And now I'm down in victory lane with the winner, 3 in a row, John Cannizzaro Jr. John, take me through that race. It looked, you made that one look really easy out there tonight.
Before anybody starts complaining, yes, it is a Dodge motor. I know Garrett Gleason's very upset with me right now, but he can deal with it. I'm paying tech officials. That's all everybody needs to know. Other than that, setup was very interesting. We didn't get that till about maybe half an hour before the race, and at that point, nobody knew what we were going into. And Lime Rock's not a track I'm familiar with. I haven't ran it since Rookies, which was a while ago. So, other than that, it went fine. Only had a few issues with a few trucks that ended up getting parked, but you know, it is what it is. I thought the track was not the worst. You know, obviously, someone that doesn't run road a lot is gonna have issues with it, but I think the track was pretty fun though.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a lot of fun out there. I know a little bit of a wrench in the works there with the standing start. What was your thoughts with the standing start as opposed to the rolling start like we're used to seeing?
Well, somebody had said it as a joke over voice chat. I started laughing at that. We spawned in, and this pace truck's not there, and I'm going, wait a minute, this is gonna get bad. And all of a sudden, let the clutch slip, and it starts spinning the tires. And at that point, it's frantically trying to find grip somewhere over JD. And thankfully, I did. Otherwise, it probably would have been bye-bye for JD.
Well, you know, with that battle between you and JD, obviously only lasted a couple of laps, and you were able to just jump out to a huge lead. I think you wound up winning the race by another 24, 25 seconds, somewhere in that ballpark. But, you know, next week, not going to have that luxury going to Talladega. What are your thoughts going to the Super Speedway?
Well, as I was telling Scott Crump, my fellow Stay Tuned truck, I like to consider myself Ryan Newman of super speedways. I'm either up front and then get caught in a big wreck and become a flying object, or I ride around in the back and get stuck in the big one and get hit by the flying object. So we'll see what happens. I think for that race, I'm gonna lay back from trying to, just gun for it. I want to get my father a good win. I think he might be good at Talladega. He's good. He's always helped me at super speedway, so maybe I can push him to his first win before Maher gets his. Funny enough, so.
Well, John, before we let you go, hopefully we'll see that out there between the two of you guys next week. But before we let you go, do you have any shout-outs for us?
Well, obviously my father, he didn't wreck me this time. I know at Watkins Glen, he almost took me out when I was lapping him. We did good this time, a big improvement. Um, obviously, Stay Tuned Sports, plastered across the side of the truck. Jimbo's a great guy. He lets us run the truck all the time and led us to our 2 championships this year. If I keep winning, I might make it 3, but, you know, him, my mother, CFS Burnouts, and the Orange County, the track itself. Great track, great guys. Tommy's puts on a great show there. Everybody should go check that out on Instagram, Burnout Nationals. And you guys put on the broadcast up here.
Awesome. Well, thank you, John, and congratulations again on the win. Congrats on the championship with the Grand National Series, and looking forward to seeing you out there next week at Talladega.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that'll do it for our interviews for tonight's race, and just a fun race overall here at Lime Rock, won by John Cannizzaro Jr. Tonight's race is brought to you by Stay Tuned Sports. They're your go-to destination for the best sports talk around. Great to listen to, whether you're driving in the car, heading home at work, or just hanging out in the house. Jimbo has the best insight on sports all across the globe, whether it's football, basketball, hockey, the MLB, draft, baseball, you name it. He's got all the info there. You can check out Stay Tuned Sports wherever you find podcasts. So for one final time, for Carlos, our fantastic producer, I'm Bob Giaquinto. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay safe, stay well, and we'll talk to you soon.